Hello everyone, we are now going to start on with a new topic. Give the heading Central Clearing. Okay, chapter is going to be quite easy and we have an intuitive idea about this portion as well, that what is central clearing means. Over here Mr. A and over here Mr. B. Now he is the buyer and he is the seller. Mr. A is the buyer and Mr. B is the seller. Clear? Now, he wants to buy something from B and Mr. B wants to sell something to A. But but we don't want them to do it directly because there will be some amount of risk. So for that, we will keep a central clearing party, CCP, central clearing party in between. Clear? Now, if A wants to buy, he will buy from CCP. He will buy it from CCP. B wants to sell, B will sell it to CCP. So what is actually happening over here? B is selling the shares to CCP, and from CCP who is buying the shares? A. At the end, there is no position for CCP because whatever he bought from the B means CCP is a buyer to B and CCP is a seller to A. So in short, CCP has no position, means he is neutral, neither long on security A, neither short on any other securities. Clear? What is the purpose of sender clearing? To reduce the risk. Means in the whole story you will understand one thing, that CCP is there to reduce the risk, Clear? Now this particular reading is divided into three parts. Write down. Part 1 is central counterparties. Central counterparties. Clear? So over here what we will study? We will start on with the what is CCP. Okay, first of all we will understand that what is this CCP, central counterparty. Clear? And how it operates that will be our first thing to do. Clear? Second thing which we will study over here, see, first of all it's working. Okay, now apart from the working, what we will study? We will study novation. Clear? Then we will study about netting, offset, compression. Netting, offset, compression. Clear? These are the three things we will study in the first section. Clear? Then we will go to the second section, which is about the risk management. How CCP is actually helping us to reduce the amount of risk with the help of the margins. Okay, with the help of margins. The first and foremost is margins. What we will study? We will study about margins. Second thing to be covered up over here is the CCP loss waterfall. CCP loss waterfall. Clear? Now coming to the final section, that is about the market impact. What is the market impact? What is the market impact of the CCP? Clear? So over here we are going to study about the bilateral versus central clearing. Bilateral versus central clearing. Then initial margins and default fund requirements. Initial margin and default fund requirement. initial margin and default fund requirement. And the last point is some advantages and disadvantages of central clearing. Advantages and disadvantages of central clearing. Clear? These are the mind maps, basically the things which we are going to cover up in this particular portion. Okay, now chapter is quite easy, very intuitive, so don't take the pressure out of it, and very much what I call it's story kind of thing. Okay, so nothing concrete or numerical we are going to study, so it's going to be very simple and easy for you. Okay, now let us begin with our first section, that is your central counterparties and central clearing. Now I must say one thing, this is a very critical aspect of the modern financial market, so that we can ensure stability and reduce the risk in trading. Very important, means CCP, central counterparty, it plays a very critical role in the stability of the financial market as well as reducing the risk in trading. Now the point is, why do we need this CCP? Means, okay, I can trade directly with B, but why do I need CCP? This is a very simple point. Clear? Now you are buying, suppose you are buying a smartphone from a stranger, means you have to buy a phone. Okay, and Mr. B is a stranger to you. Clear? And you have paid them $50,000 just to acquire the phone. But what if Mr. B will not send you the phone? What if he will default on the promise? So what you will do in that particular situation? Clear? That definitely the risk is involved over here. Clear? Now what if you will go to a trusted platforms like Flipkart or Amazon? Okay, now if you are making a payment to the Amazon or Flipkart, clear, now they have a proper system in place for everything. Means they will not send your $50,000 directly to B. The Amazon will not send $50,000 directly to B. First B will transfer the phone to you, then Amazon will transfer $50,000 to the seller once your product shipped. Okay, now this ensure the safety of both seller as well as buyer. How come seller as well as buyer? Means A and B. What if B delivers the phone but A did not pay the money? Loss to B. What if A deliver the money but B did not deliver the phone? Loss of A. But over here what's happening? A will take the money from central clearing, or you can say Amazon will take the money from A, and if the A will default, now A cannot default. Now if the B will default, Amazon can transfer the money back to Mr. A. So this ensures the safety of A. Now what if B delivers the phone but he will not receive the money? So he have the money. Once the goods delivered to A, Amazon will transfer the money to B, ensuring the safety of Mr. B as well. Clear? So in the similar manner, this CCP acts as a middleman between the buyer and the seller to ensure smooth transaction and reduce the risk of one party defaulting. Clear? Now the example which I gave you, okay, it's a traditional bilateral transaction where A and B directly having a transaction with each other, where A and B directly having a transaction with each other. So if one party default, the other party will suffer the loss, or you can say they will face the risk. Both the parties will face the risk. There is a lack of transparency, no written rules, no written regulations. So both the parties sometimes face lots and huge amount of losses. Clear? And this is just one example. There are many possibilities, many ways where you can suffer a huge amount of losses. Clear? Now over here I have given you an example of the Amazon, okay, where he has taken the money from you and then he gave the money to Mr. B. But sometimes it happens that now he A and B is there, CCP is also there, and they had a trade with each other. Sometimes some scenario creates in such a way that A defaulted, and CCP even did not have taken enough amount of money from A to pass it on to the B. Means, take an example that A and B, okay, A have taken a loan of $100 from B, but not taken directly. They have taken it with the help of CCP. So B given the money to CCP, CCP given the money to A. Clear? Now a point of time will come where A have to give it back to the CCP and CCP will have to give it back to the B, but A unable to give. A is unable to give. Such situation created. Even in that situation, CCP will give the money to B. Even in that situation, CCP will give the money to B. So over here, CCP actually works as the risk absorber. He absorbs the risk. He absorbs the risk so that the entire market becomes safe and more transparent. So that the entire market can become more safe and transparent. Clear? Now, let us take one example, a simple example to understand how CCP is actually working. Suppose you have three banks, and I am taking the names which are easy to relate for everyone: ICICI Bank, HDFC Bank, and SBI Bank, and they all are trading with each other. Now ICICI want to sell 10 crore worth of bond. ICICI is the seller of bonds. How much? Rupees 10 CR. Clear? And HDFC is the one who wants to buy. Clear? So ICICI is the seller, HDFC is the buyer. Clear? Now they involve the SBI. They involve the SBI. Clear? Now over here what happens? If they want, they can directly trade with each other. ICICI will sell the bonds to HDFC. HDFC will give the money to the ICICI. But over here, as you know, the risk involves. The risk involves means in future when HDFC wants the money back, and what if ICICI will default? Who will lose the money? Over here, HDFC Bank will lose the money. Clear? But with the help of the CCP, ICICI sell the bonds to SBI. SBI then further sell it to HDFC. In case ICICI will default, who will bear the loss? SBI will bear the loss. Clear? We will understand later on that how SBI is actually absorbing the loss. How SBI is actually able to absorb the loss. Clear? So one thing we understood till now, number one, that the benefits of the CCP. Number one is your risk reduction. Risk reduction. Clear? Second is your increased transparency. Increased transparency. Increased transparency. And third point is your market stability. Market stability. Clear? Risk reduction. How come? Because there is no direct exposure between the two parties. Who comes in between? Counterparty. Increased transparency. Why? Because over here CCP can track all the trades. Clear? And making the system more reliable. Right? If you want, you can write down the CCP tracks all the trades. CCP tracks all the trades, making the system more reliable. Making the system more reliable. Point number 3, market stability. Write down: reduce panic during crisis. Reduce panic during crisis, since CCP manages default. Since CCP manages defaults. Since CCP manages defaults. Full stop. Write down next line. However, there is a downside too. However, there is a downside too. All risk is concentrated in the CCP. All risk is concentrated in the CCP means CCP is here like SDFC, ICICI, SB, Mr. X, Y, Z, all are trading through central counterparty. So who is absorbing the losses if default occurs? CCP. So CCP is something which is concentrated. Means if CCP will collapse, it will create a massive financial crisis. It will create a massive financial crisis. But later on we will see that there is a very less chances CCP can default, because CCP had huge amount of funding through which they will make up the losses. Clear? Now, the major reason for 2008 financial crisis, all trades are not via counterparty. Okay, CCP was not there in all the trades. Clear? So, if one bank collapsed, the other collapsed, because what happened at that point of time, A gave the money to B gave the money to C gave the money to D. Now, if D will default, C will default, C will default, B will default, and hence A will default. So, this shows that all the banks collapsed at the given point of time. So, after this, government worldwide made central clearing mandatory for many derivatives to avoid such risk. Clear? CCP is mandatory for many derivatives to avoid such risk. Clear? If I'll tell you one example in India about your CCP is Clearing Corporation of India Limited. Write down Clearing Corporation of India Limited. Clearing Corporation of India Limited. Clear? This actually ensures safe and transparent financial transaction among the banks. Clear? So, in this first lecture, which I am going to conclude now, I have just introduced you the chapter. Clear? And also helped you to understand that what the central counterparty is all about. Clear? We haven't done any working, novation, nothing, but just I have introduced you the meaning and the understanding of the central clearing counterparty. Clear? So over here I am ending this lecture and will continue ahead in the next lecture. Thank you.